All right, guys. So, getting into this crypto day trading method that I'm doing. Now, bear with me. I'm just going to try something here where instead of blah, blah, blah talking, I'm going to just show what I'm doing and I'll explain why I'm doing it. And let's just start with that. Okay. So today, February 9th, 9:25 p.m. So the activity that I've taken since the last video, I will show that. So that video was yesterday. So we go to Bitcoin, look at my fills where I got in. So 13 hours ago. So this was this morning. Okay, that I bought, added to my position. I was already in, as I showed the portfolio yesterday. And I'm always holding some to some extent, especially the main ones like Bitcoin. So I added to that yesterday. Why did I do that? Why did I add to this position? Again, like from a swing trading point of view, those trading that method, yesterday was not really an opportunity to add. It was, we're in just sort of selling off in percentages territory, right, for the swing traders. So why was I buying yesterday? Well, because I know how to read a chart. You guys know how to read a chart, a lot of you. We're all getting there. And this morning I saw this. This is, zoom into this area. It was roughly around this time. We can go back and look at exactly what my entry time was. So I added to my long position here. Now remember, I had finished off in the last video. We had seen a very large up move. Bitcoin went into new high ground. And I had my portfolio percentage, I think it was at 85% at that point in cash, meaning 15% in cryptos, right? So adding here got me to about 20% in cryptos between this and the other ones that I added around this time of day. Okay, so it's talking about, sharing what I'm doing. So you'll figure out the method as I go. So we all know this pattern. This is one of my favorite things, right? Some things never change. The low volume on the way up. I know the 14 EMA isn't on here, and of course that is applicable for this stuff, as you guys know. But we're just using this wrong moving average right now. But if you guys know my stuff, you know why I would add to the position here. Okay. There are other videos to explain that. So we're slightly above that position. It did add a bit to my profit where we are now. We had some higher points too. So now looking at that, there were a few others that I did. So I just want to show that. Ethereum, I think I kind of, that pattern was everywhere. So there, 13 hours ago, bye, right? I bought some and then, figuring out how much I want to put in, how it's looking, I added a bit more. But it was all off of that double bottom fake break, high volume strength pattern in an uptrend. Not rocket science if you know my stuff. Okay. This is really about just getting in touch with the market and feeling it out. And unlike the swing trading approach, you can, buy high, quote unquote, like I did yesterday when you see things like that. Okay. Litecoin, right? They all had the same pattern. It was correlating. So I spread it around a bit and maybe on a couple of others, whatever it may have been. Yeah, XLM, you see. And basically I increased my portfolio that was in cryptos from 15% to 20%, right? Not a huge jump. But I did add to my position based on the outlook going on for the day, in the very near future. Okay. Now, I haven't sold any of that off. Have I? No. We would have seen it on the statement when I was just looking at the fills. Okay. So I haven't sold any of that off, right, from what I bought. Now, remember yesterday, the account balance was at 20,060-ish. And now we're up to 130. But that's not just the profit for the day. Look at the withdrawals today, February 9th. So 170, which is kind of, let's call it, I don't want to use the word goal, but it's kind of a goal. It's a nice a day. It's a nice amount in the range that we've been doing it. Maybe we're looking to increase here and grow it steadily. I'm surely let's make that the plan. And get into larger amounts daily as a nice average, but 170 a day, 7 days a week, give or take, on a very average, kind of perspective. Okay, and then since then it's jumped up, so we're at $300 for today, right? If I were to take this out and put my balance, right, so I can do another withdrawal, I could do it now to keep this kind of. I'm not going to do it now, and then you're going to see all kinds of things, maybe, right? I don't know. My account number or something. So you get the idea. I could withdraw. Well, I like to leave a bit of padding. Let's say I withdraw 100, right? So there'll be $20,030, right? Remember, the $20,000 is the deposited amount, and above that is profit that you can take out and use. And again, trying this sort of salary almost every day approach, which I think is, going to be good for people. So I can go up, take 100 out, right? And then it'll be 270 for the day. Okay. So, and of course you have higher days and lower days the way I've been doing it. And I'm looking to increase it. Let's grow it. Let's get our daily average going up and up and up over time, right? So, I haven't sold any off yet. That's the thing. So the long positions that I had, let's look at it. The long positions that I had yesterday in that video, right? I added to them, as I showed you, right? And here's where it sits now. Okay. So, and this percentage, fluctuates a bit because the balance is fluctuating as the values do. But that's generally where we are. I think I was as far as 80%, but now that my cash balance has gone up, it's a higher percentage in, anyway, cash. But you see the range that I'm in. I was 85. I may have gone to 80, right? And that's really keeping it conservative. So, I haven't sold any off yet. Okay. Now let's look at the chart. I had those positions in. I added to them yesterday. Let's look at the chart. Either way, the profit was taken for the day. I could take, again, like 100 more. So let's look at the chart. Where are we? We're very high in a trend. And simply put, again, if you learn my method, you know this. I'm looking at high volume to warn me that we may be reversing. So where are we? 4-hour chart, home base on cryptos. I'm just getting a general sense as I'm clicking through how much high volume weakness are we seeing generally. Looking at Bitcoin, this continued up as a result. Here's what we're dealing with, right? If we back out a bit, how much supply weakness are we seeing up here, really? It's dropped off into these higher prices. So higher prices are getting accepted rather than rejected. This is, right, rejection stuff. High volume, rejecting price off the low points. That's strength. High volume rejecting, right, off the high point, that's not there to show weakness. So as big of a move this is, a lot of times you get, after these big moves, you hit a bunch of weakness and you pull back. There's very limited weakness. So I'm just going to listen to the chart and say, okay, I'm not going to sell off too much. Look, we're going into new high ground here still without much activity. That means selling, profit-taking, shorting, very inactive for the moment. And we're taking off right now. Breaking the old high into new high ground over this. And we'll see what these are looking like, right? So there's no reason to do anything as far as selling off some cryptos right now, as long as I'm seeing this. When I get, and we all know this, when we start to see, it's pulling back, the weakness hit, right? Okay, and now I'm just on the 4-hour chart. Now, there's nothing wrong with, don't get caught up in time frames. It's all the same information, what's going on there, but it's more detailed information. Now, that 1 hour gave us an overview of what are we looking at as far as volume with the background, and it wasn't too much off the high at all, right? We saw on the 4-hour chart. Now, if we go to the 5-minute chart, we get, again, just a little more detail, get a sense. That's why I bought some more yesterday. Get a sense of what's going on with weakness. There was some here, some large selling. Nothing crazy happening like any spikes really in an important area right now. It's just kind of going sideways. But But some of them, right, are really moving up. Here's a resistance, right? And we're just getting some details now on this up move. We saw it's no big event as far as weakness from an overview, but let's get a little more detail in the 5-minute. This one, yep, we're seeing something going on here, right? But again, when you start to chill out on volume at high prices, think of the supply-demand balance. The supply is not really overwhelming if it's able to maintain that higher price after high volume. It certainly represents selling did come in. It's not really a huge candle. So there's a lot of buying and selling, but it seems like right now that area is sort of dry of any very active sellers and not really confirming weakness. But the sellers are kind of popping up and then it continues. We know that cryptos tend to have this activity a little bit more I talk about this in my course and the different behavior between cryptos and others. And you can see weakness multiple times in an uptrend. And it can still continue, right? I've already talked about that. So, I don't freak out at these points and say, but it does represent, if it keeps happening and maybe we get an even higher spike in weakness and off of that, a very strong reaction downward. Okay, then I'd really want to start selling some off, right? But here I'm just being patient. We're not coming down as a result, right? So we're still in aggressive markup. There's aggressive marking up of price going on, even though selling is popping up in a predictable way, as you would when you throw a price up there, right? Now this one's gone a bit sideways, link, right? If I go through the 5-minute and get a sense, and again, there's nothing wrong with selling off some here just because we're high, we're seeing some weakness, we're buying low, selling high. We're always selling higher than we bought, unless we're doing some sort of rare, risk adjustment or something. But generally, you're buying low and selling high, and there's nothing wrong with as I added to those positions earlier today, or yesterday, no, it's today, well, it's a blur, this morning, then there's nothing wrong with selling a bit off. And even if I'm slightly above here, just kind of chilling out my risk again, right? Maybe we get some dips that I can buy again, right? It's a more of a daily approach. Okay, so if I'm flipping through, Bitcoin's kind of going sideways. This guy's going into new high ground. I don't have to touch it. As far as, some potential profit-taking selling, this is just my thinking in real time right now. Obviously, I'm not doing anything like this. Now, things are running off. I'm going to try to, keep this consistent, and we'll see all different environments that I'll have to deal with, right? Now, again, Link, that's hit the weakness and hasn't continued as a result, right? It's kind of underperforming compared to the others, right? And let's go back to the 4-hour. Or even the 1 hour. That's some fairly high volume up there, right? Again, we're seeing the results, just staying in those high prices and not really confirming weakness. But, there's nothing wrong with seeing that and saying, well, that might look, even though they're still pretty strong looking, that might look the weakest of them all, that Link. So, and just kind of comparing others. Yeah, maybe XLM. Okay, maybe there's that's a very high volume spike, right? It didn't continue up as a result. And that is off the high price with a strong bearish reaction. Okay. Still, let's see from a 1 hour point of view. Okay. Right? So they're all kind of bullish and seeing their weakness. Some of them don't care about the weakness. They're blowing through it. Some of them are kind of slowing down from it. Okay. So now let's go to Link again. Right? That one's underperforming a bit. Now, come over here. How much do I have of Link? Excellent. Chain Link. And that's a 325. Okay. So if we look at Link, okay, maybe I can sell some off of that. But I'm looking at my portfolio amount that I have. Yeah, it's really not major, but I can go over there and do that. Let's see what I bought it at. I hope this is working for you guys. Definitely give me some feedback on all this stuff. So, fills. Where's my earlier fills? There we go. 13 hours ago again, right? What was the price I bought at? 25. 0.38 and change. And that's where I bought. Where is it now? 27. Okay. Pretty nice increase there. So what if I sell off a little bit? It's okay. I'm buying low, selling high. You'd never regret it. So I have 11 link. I'm going to sell 3 of them. And up here, I can just kind of look and start thinning things out as, just thinning things out as I see, right now, Bitcoin is not moving up like the others. It's underperforming a bit. I do like to keep a little extra on the Bitcoin, but looking at that, do I want to trim it down a little bit? It's 2.87 in my whole portfolio. I'll leave it. Again, I don't have a large percentage of this in at all anyway. So you get the idea. Okay. So that's my plan right now, is just kind of keep an eye on it and see when some of these may be really looking like they're going to top off. And any strong move, it's okay to just start selling some off a bit. Litecoin, how much do I have of that? I have 549. Again, if I start to see it really pull back, I can sell off $50, $100 worth of that. And just kind of continue to react to what's going on, but not overreact. And really making sure that my percentage that's in cryptos, right, is appropriate for the situation. I don't want to over risk. I don't want to be under risk. I don't want to have, 4% of my account in cryptos really at any point. That's really too low. And so anyway, that's where I am now. That was like very hard. I felt like to get through all that, but there it is. So again, the results are there. And I'll show you what I'm doing, right? Good enough? Okay. So that'll conclude this video, and I will continue. All right. Hope this is good. Give me some feedback. Let me know.